There we go. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Hey, everybody. We are so happy to be here with you to celebrate another Sunday. This is our final Sunday service
hmm
in 2020. So let's dig in because there are beautiful and wonderful and powerful things in store for us this day. Let's begin with prayer. And this morning, our prayer champion, Reverend Shauna, will lead us in prayer.
Morning, beautiful people. It is so good to be with you today. Let's close our eyes and breathe. Relax into this space and experience God here now. God that is infinite, that is omnipresent, that is power and knowledge, that is in everything, with everything, created everything, from the tiniest grains of sand to the oceans, to the planets, to the galaxies. Everything, visible and invisible, is made of God. And we are from God, of God, with God. Every one of us was not here unless God had created us. God is in us, working through our mouths, our brains, our talents. Wherever we are, God is. And we know that through the unexpected miracles, the answered prayers, and the expected miracles, the healing, the abundance, the opportunity for rest and quiet, the opportunity to connect through technology all over the world, to know that we are one family, one mind. I acknowledge and affirm that 2021 is full of goodness, healed relationships, financial abundance, caring, concern, love, compassion, all of the things that come from God through us will be demonstrated in 2021. And I am so grateful for all of the gifts and things that I have learned through the 2020 year. Something totally unexpected, but yielding unexpected blessings. The relatives and friends that we haven't talked to, the people that are in our circle that we check on, the strangers that come out to help us, the people that are doing their part to keep us safe, to keep us well, the CSC community that provides us not only with the support, the prayers, and the love, but that they continue and we continue to teach and learn the truth, that all is well. We know that as long as we are open to the truth, as long as we acknowledge those gifts, as long as we keep in our mind that whatever we can conceive and believe will be demonstrated. This is absolutely, absolutely the truth. So I release these words back into that universe that knows exactly what to do and how to do it and demonstrates that for us. And it was with such gratitude that I say, through joy, expectation, and anticipation, amen, ashe, and so it is.
many who are joining us for the very first time. And we're so happy that you're here. Thank you for being here.
Mhm.
We're so happy that you found us on this day. And so, if you are a first time guest and this is your first time here, one, shout yourself out in the comments. Let us know where you're connecting in from. We know and we see that folks are connecting in from all across the United States and all over the world. And if you are a first time guest, we want to stay in touch with you. So please text this number that you see here on your screen, 347 472 1078. Text the word welcome to that number. Please, just the word welcome, no other emojis or signatures, and you will receive an automated prompt, which with a link to then enter all of your beautiful details and information that so we can stay in touch with you so you can know what's going on with at CSC, receive helpful links and other information. We're going to get into our announcements in a minute, but you'll see that there's a lot of information there. And so you want to have that information in your inbox. You want to have it in a place that you can access. And some of these links are clickable that you want to have. So with that, actually, I think we should go ahead and get into our announcements.
And let's do that. And as we do that, we'll check the audio and make sure that you guys can hear us.
Someone can hear us?
Yeah.
Um, okay. Yeah, I think we're fine. I think everything is fine from our perspective. I can see the link. All right. So let's get into the announcements. So one of the things that we want to first just cover and remind everyone as we are still in the midst of this pandemic, there is support here in New York and across the country, but there is support. There's a support line that you can call anytime or almost anytime, but any day rather, 7 days a week, because we recognize that there's a lot going on in the midst of this pandemic. We recognize that there are lots of different challenges as it may be related to your employment, as it may be related to family members, as it may be related to trying to care for a family member who is sick or having someone in the hospital. And so this information is here for you. It's very important. Now, additionally, as we recognize the holiday season, many times folks just feel sad. You can move into a time of depression, and so here in New York we have resources as well that you can reach out. This is a 24/7 resource that you can call, text, or chat. Please utilize this information if you're just feeling down, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling sad. We're not able to celebrate the holidays in the way that we normally would traditionally. We're not able to gather together as we normally would, and that can take a toll on our mental health. It is absolutely okay to not be okay. But when you recognize that you're not okay, what then is necessary is to reach out for support and help. So that support is here. You can always come back to this video so that you can grab this information, but it is here. It is available to you. Honestly, I think it's great to even just put this NYC Well info in your phone because it's also something that you may want to share or may be able to share with friends and family. So, as I just said, we are in a time and space where we're not able to celebrate the holidays as we would like to. As you all know, we are in constant contact and communication with the governor's office and the mayor's office, and they have been very diligent in making sure that faith leaders have the reliable information and accurate information. And based on the guidance of all of the health officials across the states, as well as the CDC, as well as the World Health Organization, this is not the time to travel. This is not the time to gather with folks that aren't in our immediate household. So please understand that traveling puts you at incredible risk. It also puts others at incredible risk, and it puts your community at risk. So we are sharing the information from the health officials to please stay home and not travel this season. Now, in not traveling, this also means there are different things you can do. You can celebrate virtually, but it's important not to gather in groups. It's important to only celebrate with those in your household. And of course, continue to keep 6 feet apart, even if you're outside and singing or caroling. And actually, this is true. If you're singing, you really want to be 12 feet apart because you're actually projecting more potential molecules of the virus if you were an asymptomatic carrier. And of course, we continue to wear a mask. We continue to wear a face covering. It is our uh, deepest desire that you all remain safe and healthy, because we want to be able to gather together, and we want you to be in the building with us when that time comes. And so it's important that we all do the things to maintain our health, not protect, not fight off, maintain what already is. Right? That's
Absolutely.
metaphysics, right?
Absolutely.
Right? We're maintaining what is, right? That's very, very important. Additionally, if you want additional information about coronavirus resources, if you want information about testing and testing sites, if you need information, as we shared in previous weeks, if you needed to quarantine, and I use us as an example because we would have to use it with the two of us here in this household, if either one of us became ill, we would have to quarantine from each other. That's actually not possible in our apartment. So that means that we would have to utilize external resources, and the city has those resources available. There are hotel rooms that are available so that you can quarantine safely. Along with those rooms, you would receive meals and proper care. So it's wonderful to know that we have that available, and that information can be found at this web address. You may not need it for yourself, but knowing that this exists can be very helpful, and you can share with others. As a reminder, this is the last service, Sunday service for CSC. So that means next Sunday we will not have a service. We will not be streaming. CSC will be closed. So please govern yourselves accordingly.
Accordingly, yes.
Upcoming tomorrow night. Wow, it's tomorrow night. Tomorrow is the winter solstice. And something that we do each and every year
Mhm.
is I lead a solstice visioning. And so that's happening. That will be streaming tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I'm excited about it. It's always a wonderful time to use the energy of the solstice to go within, to ask these profound questions and catch the vision for what God is seeking to do, what is seeking to emerge in, through, and as our lives. For those that are in my 2021 Jumpstart class, this is an easy way to get your assignment in for the week. Since we won't be having class on Thursday, you can get your visioning in tomorrow night. It'll be available, or you can come to the video anytime during the week. On New Year's Eve, we will take the time to remember. We will take the time to bask in gratitude. And of course, we will take the time to set an intention. This is our annual Celebrate NYE celebration, and we are looking forward to coming together. It will be at 7 p.m. It will be a live service at 7 p.m. on New Year's Eve. That service will be followed by a virtual Zoom toast. We do a toast every year. We're going to do it on Zoom. It'll be a lot of fun.
So make sure you have your bubbly, whatever that is for you.
Yes, yes. Um, and because we will be gathering separately, we always love to honor those who may be in recovery, and so we don't have alcoholic drinks. But of course, if you you can pop whatever kind of bottle you want to
In your own home.
in your own home. So. If you're on our mailing list, you'll get the information for the Zoom. We don't post that publicly. You have to be on the mailing list to get that. So please, for those that are interested, make sure that you're on the mailing list so that you can get that information. And I'll share that again for our first time guests of how you can access the mailing list. Additionally, what we're going to be doing that night is honoring our loved ones. We recognize that so many have transitioned, so many that are close to us due to COVID-19. This is unprecedented. It is a once in a generation pandemic, once in a century pandemic. And so we want to take some time to speak their names because we recognize there are so many of us that haven't been able to have proper funerals and go through those rituals that are so important to us psychologically, mentally, and emotionally. And so we would love for you to share those names. If you would like your loved one's name to be read, you simply go to the URL you see here on the screen, celebrationsc.org/register. And you'll see a link to a form. And we need their first name and last name, city, state, and country, if applicable. And we will be speaking their names and honoring them on New Year's Eve. Because again, I think it's so incredibly important that as we're moving into 2021, we must honor those beautiful souls. We are a church that believes in prayer. So if you have a prayer request, you can send that prayer request to prayerchampions@celebration.sc.org. That request will be received by the two of us as well as all of our prayer champions, and we collectively will know the truth with you. We collectively will hold you in the light of love and in the power and the victory of prayer. Again, to send that prayer request, just simply send it to prayerchampions@celebration.sc.org. We also come together every Wednesday morning to pray for our Momentum Prayer Call. The information is here. You see it on your screen. You can also access it on the calendar on our website. But every Wednesday morning rather, at 7 a.m., we gather and we pray. I share that day's reading from the daily word, and then one of our prayer champions leads us in prayer. There's also a playback number, so each prayer is recorded. You can access the most recent prayer right now, or 24/7 at any time. Simply dial the playback number, wait on the line. You don't need any additional codes, and the most recent prayer will play. Because we are a church that believes in prayer, we always begin the year not just with the once a week prayer, but we actually do a Monday through Friday morning prayer at 7 a.m. So we encourage you, and we're letting you know about it now so that you can plan and prepare to be there every weekday morning, beginning the first Monday in January. And we will do what we normally do with the momentum prayer, but we're going to plant seeds and set an intention for the year. And I absolutely know and believe that we collectively as a community have moved through this year because of the power of prayer, because of those seeds that we planted in January, having no idea whatsoever how this year would unfold and where we would be at this moment in December.
Well, we have a lot of announcements today.
I know. I told everybody. I said, this is why you want to be on the mailing list, so you can get all of this stuff, right? And so finally, today is the third Sunday, which means it's God Talk Sunday. And this is the last God Talk of the year. The God Talk has been awesome, wonderful, and beneficial for all of us this year. I think it's been wonderful that so many of you have been able to participate in the God Talk that wouldn't normally be able to participate in the God Talk. This has always been an in-person only event that happens every third Sunday. And so now, because we are meeting virtually, so many more people have been able to benefit from this forum. This is a time to ask questions. This is a time to learn how to apply new thought principles to your life. This is the time to ask any question that comes up for you. And we do our best to answer it. If for some reason we don't know the answer, we will say that. But we are always guided by Spirit, and Spirit never fails.
And you must be in the room to ask your question.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you would like to be a part of the God Talk, as you see, the Zoom link and password is sent via email. Then what you can do, if you're not already on our mailing list, then you want to text WELCOME to 347-472-1078. Right? That's how you get on our mailing list. Just text the word WELCOME, no other additional information. And for those of you that do join our mailing list today, then check your inbox. After you've registered, after you've entered your name, your email address, then you will get an email that gives you the information for the God Talk. It will be in your inbox. We've had some confusion with that in the past. You're not going to receive a text with the information. You're going to receive an email with the information. Okay? And so, yes, those are all of the wonderful announcements for this Sunday. You know, it's the last Sunday of the year. We won't be gathering together next Sunday, so there's a lot to communicate. Please pay attention to social media and your email because you'll receive reminders about all of these things. But now it is time for meditation.
Yes,
PY will lead us so wonderfully.
Our last meditation for December. This month we have been studying and speaking and talking and sitting with truth. The beautiful thing about truth is if it's not true 100% of the time, then it's not truth. And this month's meditation is all about remembering some truth, that God's joy and peace are yours. It doesn't come and go. God's peace and joy are yours infinitely, eternally. But if you're in those places in your life where you're feeling at a dis-ease, or you're feeling worry, doubt, or fear, you may have forgotten the truth. And so this meditation is all about the reminder that God's peace and joy are mine, individually mine, collectively ours. And so we're going to take time today to remember this truth. Let it permeate every cell of our being. Sit in the truth, marinate in the truth, breathe in the truth, because this is so profound. You don't have to do anything else to receive God's joy and peace. You don't have to be a better metaphysician. You don't have to be anything other than you are. It is an unconditional gift, this joy and this peace that I speak of. So let's go ahead and find a comfortable seat right where you are, in your home, on your sofa, sitting upright in your bed, in a chair. Just notice your environment. Recognize that you are home and safe. Recognize what this safety offers your body. It offers your body the ability to relax. So go ahead and get comfortable right where you are. And as you notice your body beginning to relax, close your eyes to signal further relaxation. And with our eyes closed, we begin to notice the breath. We bring curiosity and compassion to the breath. We allow the breath to be either the perception of deep or shallow. We just notice for a few rounds here. And as we breathe and enjoy the cycle of breath, our mind may wander. It's okay. Our mind may focus in on what our body is doing. It's okay. But when you become aware, send relaxation all through your body, remembering that God's peace and joy are mine. And now, together, let's take a collective breath, bringing our focus into the low belly, creating the vibration, the energy. Bringing your focus to the low belly now, and breathing in for a count of 4. Inhale. Hold for 4. Open the mouth and release for a count of 4. Again, into the low belly. Inhale, count of 4. Hold, count of 4. Open the mouth, relax the jaw, and sigh it out. Count of 4. Let's move that pranayama, that energy, in through the low belly, up through the rib cage now. Count of 4. Hold it there. Open the mouth and relax the jaw, releasing. Inhaling the joy and the peace that is God's, and it belongs to you. Hold it there. Open the mouth, release the breath, make room for more joy and peace. Inhaling again, in and up, nice slow count all the way to the heart. Hold it there. And release. The fullest breath in this present moment, inhaling all the way in and up. Creating new set point, new reality, hold it there. Open the mouth and let it all go. Let's take a few rounds on our own, breathing in complete, full, relaxed breath all the way in and up through the heart. And when you reach the top, hold it there. Open the mouth and release it all. Take a few rounds on your own, inhaling in and up. Hold it at the top. And this time, close the lips and exhale through the nose. Enjoy several rounds here. God's joy and peace are mine. As I breathe, I receive God's joy and peace are mine. As I breathe, I make room for more of God's joy and peace. I don't have to fight. I allow it because it is mine. Last round. And now let's send the energy of this breath, noticing the relaxation that we've been giving ourselves. Send that energy into the feet. Signal them to relax now. Maybe we wiggle the toes, maybe we raise the heels. If you're holding any tension, let it go. Let that energy flow up the shins and the calves. Relax the shins and calves. Energy flows now across the knees. We bend in honor. We surrender what is no longer ours to hold. Relax the knees. Energy flows across the thighs, the hamstrings, towards the hips and the glutes. Relax the lower half of your body now. As that energy gathers at the base of the spine, we imagine in our minds the activation of our subtle body, every chakra aligned, balanced, and open. As the energy travels up, 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 and out the crown of our head. No obstructions as God's joy and peace flow through our body and gather above us. Collectively, we have summoned the power, the presence, the truth. Let's receive that truth as it flows back down through the crown, activating our third eye, its intuitive power, clearing a way and a path so that we speak this truth. Let that energy flow down your shoulders, down your arms and out your fingertips. And if you like, you can turn the palms up to receive more of this cycle of energy, or turn the palms down to ground. God's joy and peace have never left me. God's joy and peace have never left you. They came when you arrived. Let's settle into that energy and flow of knowing no matter where we are, we have access to the truth. We are connected to the power. We are connected to the abundance. We are connected to answers. Scan your body one last time, noticing anywhere that you're holding on. Give yourself permission to let go and let joy and peace enter. As we prepare for our silent time, I will monitor. You take the inward journey. And if the mind wanders, it is okay. When you become aware, bring yourself back with this thought: God's joy and peace are mine. I will monitor the time you receive the gift now. With our eyes still closed, we enjoy this time that we've given ourselves. With our eyes still closed, we remember, as the Course says, anyone who seeks the truth will find it. And once they find it, they will never lose it. So this week, as you go out, and maybe there's some worry, doubt, or fear, remember that the truth is there, that God's joy and peace are yours. Maybe pause and close your eyes and bring yourself back, taking a few rounds of breath to remember how it feels to be in the vibration of joy and peace. It has never left you because God has never left you. Start to breathe more deeply now. If the palms are turned up, turn them down, and maybe rubbing the thighs, the tops of the thighs and the knees, signaling the body to become more aware and awake, more present. Draw the shoulders up by the ears and stop the movement of the hands. Inhale. Open the mouth and release the breath and slowly relax the shoulders back and down. Again, inhale. Drawing the shoulders up by the ears. Release the breath and slowly release the shoulders back and down. One more time. Inhaling in and up and back and down. Bring the palms together at heart center. Bow your chin to your fingertips, pausing to acknowledge the gift that you've given yourself, a gift that you can return to and open anytime you need. God's joy and peace are yours. No assembly required, nothing else required. It is available. As we bow our chin to our fingertips, we notice a slight opening, base of the neck, elongation of the spine, relaxation moving through the body. Slowly flutter the eyes open, taking in a point on the floor in front of you. Nice soft gaze, no strain, nice and easy. Inhale. Raise the chin, raise the gaze. Release the breath. Namaste.
Again. Sorry, y'all, we're muted again. Okay, I unmuted myself. So I'll go back to what I was just saying. First of all, thank you, PY.
You're welcome, baby.
for an awesome and wonderful meditation, and I trust that you're. It's behind time. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
I trust that you all are loving the vibration and loving the fun of this moment. Yes, we were muted. So what I was saying was that as this is the last Sunday of December for us, our last service, normally the last Sunday service in December at CSC is an awesome time. It's a wonderful time. And for those of you that have not been able to be with us yet in person, I look forward to being able to celebrate this particular Sunday next year with all of you in 2021. This would be our home for the holiday Sunday. It would be our home for the holiday celebration. And as you all know, Pastor Yolanda each and every year has an amazing, awesome, powerful vision and brings a bunch of volunteers together and creates something magical, magnificent and brilliant and beautiful. And we have food and we get to love on each other. It's always such a wonderful time. And it is for me one of the big disappointments of this year that we're not able to have that. But Soul 21 is going to help us to get into the holiday spirit. We're going to go back to Home for the Holidays from a couple of years ago. And Soul 21 is going to take us in song. And after the song from Soul 21, I will share today's message. Yes, yes. Sleigh bells and carols and presents and family this year. Frosty and Rudolph and Charlie Brown Christmas this year. Well, I pray that that gave you some good holiday vibes. That's on YouTube, so you can go back and listen to it whenever you want, and on Facebook, share it with your family and friends. I am excited to be here with all of you again. Happy Sunday. Hello. Good morning. Almost afternoon. It is just awesome to be here with each and every one of you. So let's just dig in because we have some cool things to talk about this morning. We have been in this beautiful series, Use the Truth You Know. And essentially, what Use the Truth You Know is really all about as a series is reminding us that we have tapped into some powerful truth and some powerful teachings this year as we began the year with the three-part series, You Better Work. Truth principles for successful living and studying working with the law, and then we moved into the pandemic and we did a pivot. Instead of teaching the class as it was we were intending to do as a paid class, we decided to make that the class for Sunday service. And so instead of having sort of a traditional Sunday service, we taught a masterclass, Thrive, Living in Complete Prosperity. That will, as we've continued to share, that will continue to be available and available on YouTube and Facebook as long as we are meeting in this way virtually. It's something that you want to dig into. And so as we recognize that we've had these powerful truths and this powerful truth and teaching this year, the question becomes, are we making use of it, right? And this series is anchored from this wonderful idea that comes from Myrtle Fillmore, where she says, get busy using the truth you know. And right here and now where we are, it is important for us to get busy, get busy, get busy. And so in week one, I started with the sermon, What Do I Know to Be True? Recognizing that the things that we have been exposed to this year, right? It's not enough to just say, oh, that was a good series. I love it. That was a great sermon. Or it's not enough to say, yeah, I read that book. It was wonderful. And I can recite what the 11 laws are that Hollowell teaches. Or it's not enough to just say, oh, I've read Spiritual Economics and the Thrive series was awesome. What's important is it a part of us? Has it become a part of our DNA? And when we ask that question, what do I know to be true, as I shared in that sermon, when things show up or we find ourselves in the fear, doubt, and worry loop of thought, I ask myself, what do I know to be true? And then that which I had poured into myself, that's what began to come up, right? And that's what helped supported me in shifting my vibration. So it's important that we know what we know to be true so that we can embody this truth. And embodying this truth means that we incorporate it, we incarnate it, we personify it. Last week, bless the future and bless the past. As I've been hearing and seeing so many people speaking ill of 2020, and of course, this year has been difficult. What we understand as metaphysicians is understanding how universal law works. We actually want to bless the future, set those intentions absolutely, but we also have to bless the past. We have to bless 2020, not being burying our heads in the sand and acting crazy like, oh yeah, it was all good, everything was wonderful. No, but what we actually get to do is bless it from the perspective that nothing but good can come from this. Bless it, recognizing that 2020 can be the mulch that is supporting us in what we are growing in 2021. So you've heard me say it several times that today is the last Sunday service of 2020 at CSC, and this is something that we should mark and understand, because it also marks today is 11 months. I'm sorry, 9 months since we have been virtual. Our first completely virtual service was March 15th, and since that time we have been virtual. We are not meeting in person. Today actually marks 11 months since the first reported COVID-19 case. It was reported on January 20th, or confirmed in January 20th in Seattle, Washington. And today is December 20th, exactly 11 months. And since that time, over 17.4 million people have contracted this virus, and over 300,000 souls in the US and US territories have transitioned. This is according to the COVID Tracking Project. Also, when we look at that number of 300,000 deaths, there's something important to look at there, because where race or ethnicity is known, we know that Black people account for 18% of those 300,000 deaths. Now, Black people only account for 13% of the US population, but there is a disproportionate death rate. And to be actually clearer, Black, Indigenous, and brown people, if you look at the stats, it's clear. The people that are dying the most first is Black people. Next, and it's very close, are Indigenous people. Next are people that identify as Hispanic, Latino, or Latinx. As we understand that there are over 300,000 deaths, we also understand that it's Black, Indigenous, and brown people of color that are dying at disproportionate rates. In this moment, as I share this sermon and as we are gathering together, Southern California is in a crisis. Southern California looks like what New York looked like back in the spring, as cases and deaths are rising at unimaginable rates. Hospitals are literally at capacity. There are ICUs in Southern California right now that they can't take anyone else in. There are ICUs right now in Southern California that look like New York, that look like Wuhan, that there are people lined up in the hallways now. There's no beds for them. In fact, it is so bad right now in California that the state of California has activated what they call their mass fatality program. They've ordered 5,000 body bags and ordered refrigerated trucks to prepare for what is coming. And if that were not enough, we now have the reports in the news that there is a new strain of the virus that has been identified in the UK. And so parts of the UK are now moving into strict lockdown. Christmas really won't be the same in many of those locations and for our sisters and brothers in the United Kingdom. And all of this is happening as we celebrate the Christmas season and prepare for Christmas Day. As we celebrate the Christmas season and prepare for Christmas Day without many of the traditions that we are accustomed to. And what's interesting to me, what's ironic, is that this bleak picture that I've just painted and shared with you, it feels like the beginning of many of the Christmas stories that we love and many of the Christmas movies that we watch. In fact, it definitely reminds me of a Dickensian world. It reminds me of the world that Charles Dickens wrote about, not only in A Christmas Carol, but in so many of his other classic works, Oliver Twist and A Tale of Two Cities. Because the world that he paints and the picture that he paints the disparity between the haves and the have-nots. He paints it in a very stark and striking way. He, as he writes, the divisions in that world and that time are in plain view, and it appears that hope is running on empty. And yet, although every Christmas story begins with some sort of problem, every Christmas story, we zoom into the life of a family or the life of several people, and we see this problem. We see something that needs to be resolved. And although every story begins with a problem, it always ends with renewed hope, renewed purpose, and a renewed sense of possibility. There's a quote that I learned this year, and shout out to our dear brother Bob Roth, who has been leading the group meditations, Transcendental Meditations, and he shares quotes at the end of each meditation. And this particular quote he shared, it was the first time I heard it. If you're going through hell, keep going. And this quote is attributed to Winston Churchill, but there's actually no evidence that Churchill is actually the one that said it. The first time that we actually find something close to this in writing was in 1943 in the Christian Science Monitor. And the writer was sharing a conversation that two men had. And in that text we read, someone once asked a man how he was. He replied, "I'm going through hell." Said his friend, "Well, keep on going. That is no place to stop." Same idea. There's other ideas. Famous Amos, Wally Amos, the great cookie maker, he says it this way: if you're going through hell, don't stop to take pictures. And that's a quote that's stayed with me, because what I recognize is that the experience that we are in individually and collectively, we're going through hell, y'all. There's an experience here. Individually, we are experiencing it at different degrees, right? You may be someone that's fully employed, and your income hasn't diminished in any way this year. Your income may have even expanded this year. You're not experiencing food insecurity. Yes, that may be true on an individual level, right? But collectively, we're all here. We're all in it, and we're all affected by it in different ways, right? Although I may not be experiencing food insecurity or employment insecurity, but NBA season started. I can't go see the Brooklyn Nets play at Barclays Center, right? That's I'm affected, right? Not that I'm saying that compares to what other people are going through. It's the recognition that we're all in this together, and we're all affected at varying ways. And when I understand that, I'm actually so glad that this is happening right at the winter solstice, which is tomorrow, and during this Christmas season. This is the best time that we could be recognizing where we are, going through hell. I'm so happy that this is happening right now. Something for me, this happens every year. When I'm preparing a Christmas sermon or a series for the Christmas season for December, I often battle with myself, because part of what's always interesting to me, the same thing happens kind of with Easter. It's like, how much more can you say about this Christmas story, right? I've been, teaching and preaching about this Christmas story here at CSC for the last 7 years, and in many other contexts over many, many years. And it's like, I don't want to repeat myself. They're going to be tired of hearing, about the Christmas story and the symbolism and this, that, and the other, and the winter solstice. But what I'm reminded of each year, even as I go through that sort of mental battle with myself, I'm reminded why the rituals and the symbols of the season are so important and critical to our psyche and to our survival. And that's why I say I'm so glad that the recognition of everything that I just talked about, which is very bleak and which makes us very sad and doesn't make us feel good. I'm so glad that it's happening right here and right now at the winter solstice and the Christmas season, because the promise that light and love will prevail is told to us in the heavens every year. And we're reminded lest we forget. We're reminded because we will forget. We're reminded because it will not allow us to forget. And so, yes, things seem bleak. Yes, things seem dark. And yes, we are not at the end of this pandemic. But then I'm reminded of something that I love. Poinsettia flowers, I love. PY knows, I love them. It's one of the most beautiful things. Just seeing them brings me joy. Always have since I was a child. And as an adult, I came to learn and understand more about these beautiful flowers. When I see those bright red flowers, wherever I am, the first time that I see them, I light up. Something within me lights up. Well, what's interesting about those flowers is they only bloom in darkness. The reason why we put those flowers out at this time of year, the reason why they can be seen all over the city and in so many different places, is because it is a visual reminder that something beautiful and awe-inspiring grows in the darkness. Yes, the winter solstice is coming. Yes, we are going to experience the longest night of the year. Yes, we're going to experience what appears to be sustained darkness. And yet, right here in nature, it's reminding us that beauty is created in darkness. That something that's brilliant and awe-inspiring is created in darkness. When we look at the Christmas traditions, before there were Christmas trees, there were simply Christmas wreaths. Why were there Christmas wreaths? because the pine tree is known as the evergreen, reminding us as green as a symbol of life, as green as a symbol of growth, reminding us that green exists even in the cold of winter, that green is available, that there's something growing, that there's life happening, even in the experience of absolute darkness, even in the experience of things being frozen, even in the experience of things feeling stuck. And so we hang these reeds, and we have these trees because they are visible recognizers and reminders of this powerful, profound truth. Light and love prevail. Nature is showing us this. Yes, there are circumstances. Yes, there are things going on. Yes, it's frozen. Yes, it's stuck. Yes, we're cold. Yes, it's dark. And there's a beautiful flower that's blooming in this darkness. The green is still present. And so I found myself this week, there's an old gospel song that I just found playing in my mind over and over again. I would wake up with it. Shout out to one of my high school music teachers, Dr. Tony Leach, who founded and led our gospel choir in high school. And he taught us this song by Donald Vales, I'm Not Afraid Anymore. And that song says, I'm not afraid of the darkness. Whom shall I fear if God be for me? What shall we say to these things? What shall we say to these things? I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. And that's just been playing over and over in my heart and in my mind. It echoes the spirit of this season. It echoes the spirit of this time, recognizing that, yes, we can be afraid of the darkness, but the season is telling us that we have no need to be afraid. The season is reminding us that God is for us and God is in us. God is with us, in fact. This is the naming of the Christ, God with us. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid of the darkness. We are not afraid of the darkness because we understand its purpose. We are not afraid of the darkness because we know it is simply the absence of light. We are not afraid of the darkness because we know that we are the children of light. Now, back in October, President-elect Joe Biden, he warned the U.S. of a dark winter ahead, and he was ridiculed by the current occupant of the White House for saying that. But as people of faith, we can respond and say, I'm not afraid of the darkness. Now, when we respond, we're not saying, President-elect, you're lying. President-elect, you shouldn't be saying that. You shouldn't be telling us that. It doesn't mean that we ignore the warning, but it means that we believe that we will get through this. It means that we believe that we will prevail. It means that we believe that we will gather again. I'm not afraid of the darkness because the beautiful red of the poinsettia reminds me not to be afraid of the darkness. I'm not afraid of the darkness because the evergreen, the reeds, the Christmas trees remind me that I don't have to be afraid of the darkness. And so when we talk about using the truth that we know and getting busy using the truth that we know, and in late February, I believe it was the last Sunday in February, it's one of our last few Sundays before the pandemic and the New York pause started, I preached a sermon based on the law of non-resistance. Be water, my friend. We looked at some beautiful wisdom of the Tao and how Bruce Lee learned to embrace and embody this powerful teaching. And there was something that I shared in that message from working with the law. Hollowell writes, if we strive to make little of the obstacle and keep our minds on the objective or the desire we set out to gain, we may have to wind around and around, but if we persevere, we will ultimately win. We will reach our goal. And so as I share all of this information, and of course we are in the middle of this pandemic, and if we're not on complete lockdown, of course there are restrictions, and we're operating differently. What's important for us as metaphysicians and using the truth that we know and understanding the law of non-resistance, right? This is why I'm happy to wear a mask, right? Because I'm a metaphysician. Because I recognize that if I resist something and push against it, then I'm going to create friction in my life. But when I just oh, this is the law, this is what we're supposed to do, it actually doesn't hurt or harm me in any way, I'm going to go ahead and comply, right? Because why? Because I recognize that I'm keeping my mind and my heart on the objective. So shared earlier, what we're doing, we're not trying to protect our health. I'm not trying to defend myself from some virus or fight a virus. I'm not doing that. What I'm doing is maintaining what is my good health. What I am doing is those practices that I'm doing are supporting Pastor Yolanda in maintaining her good health. What I am doing is those practices that I'm doing is then supporting my family in maintaining their good health. So the question becomes, as we are in this moment of winter, do you have an objective? Pastor Yolanda asked us a question and she brought it to us so clearly, and we keep coming back to it. It's so important. On March 15th, she asked us this question. She said, "Who do I want to be when this is over?" If you haven't answered that question yet, that is the only question that you need to answer for 2021. Who do I want to be when this is over? First of all, alive, right? Healthy. The metaphysician understands their objective. And I love how Hollowell says this because this is important. When we keep our minds on the objective or the desire we set out to gain, we may wind around and around, just like water in a river. But if we persevere, we will ultimately win. It doesn't mean that everything is going to be fine right away. It doesn't mean that everything is going to change immediately, right? We understand that there's a winding, there's a trajectory, there's a course, right? We're in a marathon and we don't know the mile marker, but we know that every marathon ends. And so as you affirm, I'm not afraid anymore, understanding I'm not afraid of the darkness, understanding what's really going on, then you must be able to name your objective. Tomorrow is the first day of winter. Tomorrow is the winter solstice. And that word solstice means stand still. The summer solstice in June brings us the most light of the day, the longest period of light. And the winter solstice gives us the longest period of darkness. Nature operates in profound balance. For 3 days, the sun will rise approximately to the same height in the northern hemisphere. But on Christmas morning, the sun will end its descent and rise higher, beginning its journey towards the spring. And so this is why the symbolism is celebrated of the birth of the sun, the birth of the Christ on December 25th. This is a symbolism that is not unique to Christianity. There are many wonderful dying and resurrecting God men who are also born supposedly on December 25th. Because we recognize that this idea is ancient. We recognize that this symbolizes something profound. And what's interesting to me is that while it is true that the sun will be born on Christmas Day, on December 25th, while it is true that the sun will rise to a higher height on December 25th, it won't be perceptible to the naked eye. In fact, it'll still be cold, and as we move through winter and we move into January, it might get colder. There will be no indication of change. There will be no indication of life coming forth. And this is why the symbols of this Christmas season are so powerfully profound, because they are our indication. And this is why we must understand the symbol of the season, because the season gives us signs and symbols of hope. This season is the reason I'm not afraid of the darkness. This season is the reason that you can affirm, I'm not afraid of the darkness. This pandemic has had a beginning, and all things must come to an end. And so I was reminded of the lyrics to a song that I wrote for our Christmas concert. I think it was about 3 years ago. The season is the reason. The season is the reason that we have hope, the light will come. Nothing can hide the morning sun. The season is the reason. Darkness will flee, all fear erased. The joy will come and fill this place. The season is the reason. We're confident that light will win because the sun is born and born again. The season is the reason. And with this truth, we will declare. We will declare that the season is the reason. As I just read that line, the joy will come and fill this place. Joy will come. Joy will come. Yes, as we hear the old saints say, weeping may endure for a night, but joy always comes in the morning. It's one of the objectives that I've held on to throughout these 9 months of the joy that will fill the place when we gather together. The sound of joy, the sound of praise that will fill the place as we gather together. And this season is the reason that I have that hope. This season is the reason that I know that darkness will be erased. Fear will be erased. This season is the reason that I affirm I'm not afraid of the darkness. Hold this truth in your heart over these next 3 days. And in your own way, celebrate on the 25th. Not celebrating the birth of Jesus as some savior of the world, but celebrating the birth of a felt reality that the Christ in you is born again. And the Christ in you, we read in the scripture, is the hope of glory. That hope is renewed in you on the 25th. And that hope is not based on what you can see with your naked eye. It's not going to show you. But it's based on what you know to be true within yourself. Celebration Spiritual Center family, we must get busy using the truth we know. We are a people of hope. We are a people of faith. We are a people of love. And we have the opportunity to embody that in the weeks and the months to come, recognizing that every beginning has an ending, and we will get there together as one human family. So in this moment, I invite each and every one of you to take a deep breath in and exhale. Another deep breath in, and we release. I am here now. I am here now. I am here now. There is only one power, only one presence, only one divine intelligence, only one creative cause, only one life, and it is my life now. It is working in all, through all, and as all. I choose to call it Mother, Father, God, the beginning and end, that which thought all things into being and called it good, that which thought you into being and called you good, that which thought me into being and called me good. I recognize that it is omnipresence, everywhere present, constantly encountered at all times. I recognize that it is omnipotence. It is all the power, potential, and possibility that allows us to be, do, or have anything, and it is right here, right now. It never comes and it never goes. It just always is. God is right here, right now. All of God is right here, right now, where we are. And it is from this recognition that I speak this word of truth, and I speak this word in faith, and I speak this word with expectation. This season is a reason for hope. Yes, there are facts and figures on the ground. Yes, there are varied experiences across this country and across the planet. And yet we are a people of hope. We tap into the vibration of hope. I am grateful and thankful for the symbols and the rituals of this season that are designed not to just live in tradition, that are designed not to just do the same thing every year, but are designed to awaken something up within our very being, to remind us that there is a Christ within us that is born and born again, to remind us that there is a hope of glory that is born within us over and over and over again. I hear the words of the deep poet. The body is like Mary, and each of us has a Christ within us. This is the absolute truth of our life. And so we let that Christ, we let that hope, we let that consciousness, we let that knowing, we let it be the thing that leads and guides us. And as it leads and guides us through this period of darkness, we affirm, I am not afraid of the darkness. Whom shall I fear if God be for me and within me? So what shall I say to these experiences? What shall I say to the things that are ahead of me and the things that are behind me? I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. From this place of awareness, I release this prayer. I release it back into the law, which brings all things into being easily and effortlessly. And I know that this prayer is being acted upon right here and right now in every dimension of time and space simultaneously. So I let it be. I relax and allow. And together we say, Amen, Ashe, and so it is. So it is. Yes, yes.
Ah, yes, yes, I am not afraid of the darkness because I know that if I am in fear, I am separate from my source. I'm separate from my truth. And so I bring myself back to what we've been learning, what we've been living. When I align myself with the truth, there is nothing to fear. When I realize and recognize what is moving in through and as me, there's nothing to fear. I allow that sensation of hope to guide me, that truth, that light to lead me, not into further darkness, but to the light.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Pastor Greg.
Yes, yes. Yes, thank you. So in this moment, oh, that's weird. It muted and unmuted. Okay. Uh, Something weird happening with the muting and unmuting today. Sorry about that, y'all. So I will repeat what I said. And it is time for giving, but what's most important, I want to make sure you hear that what I was saying is that we as an organization, we practice what we preach. We do not just ask people to give. First, as pastors, we are faithful givers, but as an organization, CSC is a giver. And so as we are in the Christmas season, we have, of course, this year been supporting organizations like Feeding America and City Harvest. We are going to give a Christmas gift to Feeding America and City Harvest. We are also going to give a Christmas gift donation to Equal Justice Initiative, and we are going to give a Christmas gift donation to the David Lynch Foundation and Meditate America to support more people learning to meditate. And this is part of the work that we will continue to do In the new year, we're specifically going to be working on getting more Black and brown people to learn to meditate, and also more Black TM teachers, which we're really excited about. So we recognize that giving translates into receiving, right? And you actually have to exhale in order to inhale. And so we recognize as an organization, to continue to be viable and successful, this is what we must do. We also recognize that individually. And simply what we do is give what feels good. We don't give out of guilt or shame or obligation, or someone fussing saying that churches aren't doing enough. We don't give from that place. We simply give what feels good. And that's the same way that you must give, because that's how you experience the blessing of giving. So find your joy number today. That's the number to give. Whatever that is, the number that is void of all shame, that is void of all guilt, that is void of robbing Peter to pay Paul, that is void of, oh, I want to give, but then I won't be able to do this, that, or the other thing, or then I won't be able to buy Christmas gifts, or then I won't be able to buy groceries. Please don't do that.
Nope, don't do that.
Because none of that feels good. And we're saying give what feels good. When you do that, then you operate in the powerful blessing of giving, right? And when you're in that vibration, then you can joyfully affirm, all the money that I use returns to me multiplied in a never-ending cycle of increase and enjoyment. Yes. So as we shared, this is the third Sunday, which means that it's God Talk Sunday. For those of you, maybe you just joined us and you want to be a part of the God Talk, you have to join the mailing list in order to get the information, because we do not publicly share the Zoom information for security, privacy, and Zoom bombing reasons. So if you would like to join the mailing list, you just need to text the word welcome to this number, 347-472-1078. Okay, just the word welcome, no other information added to that. You'll receive a link, click the link, and then you can add your information. After you give us your email address, you will receive an email with the information.
And if you haven't received it after you've actually signed up, check your spam.
Yes.
To make sure that it didn't go there.
Yeah. But again, I say that because there's been some confusion in the past. The Zoom information is emailed and only emailed. So when you sign up on our list, I get the confusion. You're texting and you want to see that information come via text. It's actually going to come via email. All right, very important. So I'm looking at the time. We will start, and we always begin right on time at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please do what you need to do, gather a snack, get yourself together, and bring your questions to the God Talk. This is the last God Talk of 2020. I know it's going to be powerful. I know it's going to be amazing. For those of you who we won't see at the God Talk, feel free to join us on Wednesday morning for prayer. We will be praying each Wednesday morning, as we always do. And then next Thursday evening, will be New Year's Eve. It feels so weird to say that.
I know.
Right?
Like,
Not this coming Thursday, but Thursday next week, right, will be New Year's Eve, and we will gather together at 7 p.m. Oh, and there's visioning tomorrow night. Winter solstice. See, that's what I'm saying. You got to be on the mail list. There's too much stuff. I don't remember having the stuff we have to do. The winter solstice visioning, that will be streaming tomorrow on all our normal platforms on Facebook and YouTube. Tap into that vibration. It's a wonderful way to make use of this time of going within.
And we look forward to seeing you at the God Talk. If we do not see you or connect, have an amazing holiday.
Yes. Please stay safe and stay healthy. All right?
And enjoy.
Yes.
Knowing the truth you know, God's joy and peace are yours.
Yes. We love you all. All right? Bye for now.
Bye for now.